Amygdala hijack. This word you may have or may not have heard before, but this hijack has been experienced by all of us right from the beginning of our evolution from apes and even beyond. The amygdala hijack is an immediate, overwhelming emotional response with a later realization that the response was inappropriately strong given the trigger. Daniel Goleman coined the term based on the work of neuroscientist Joseph Litz, which demonstrated that some emotional information travels directly from the thalamus to the amygdala without engaging the neocortex, or higher brain regions. This causes a strong emotional response that precedes more rational thought. The amygdala hijack basically equates to freaking out or seriously overreacting to an event in your life. Imagine you've been shopping all day with your 9-year-old boy. At the end of the trip, you decide to go to the grocery store. As you walk through the fruit section, your child says, "Hey, look what I can do," and begins juggling 3 apples. As you watch the apples fall to the floor, you find yourself screaming and marching him out the door. You get angry and emotionally charged and scold your child as he spoiled the apples. On the car ride home, you realize that your son was simply trying to demonstrate his newfound juggling abilities and that your angry response was unwarranted or at least out of proportion to the situation. You regret your hasty response and apologize for reacting so poorly while reiterating that he cannot juggle store produce in the future. The question is, why did you freak out in the first place? You had an amygdala hijack. Under normal circumstances, you process information through your neocortex or thinking brain where logic occurs. The neocortex then routes the information to the amygdala, a small organ which lies deep in the center of your emotional brain. On occasion, there is a short circuit whereby the thinking brain is bypassed and signals are sent straight to the emotional brain. When this happens, you have an immediate, overwhelming emotional response disproportionate to the original event. The information is later relayed to higher brain regions that perform logic and decision-making processes, causing you to realize the inappropriateness of your original emotional response. Why does this happen? Hundreds of thousands of years ago, this type of immediate emotional response served a purpose. Imagine you were out collecting food for your family. Along the way, you found yourself face to face with a ravenous, 4-legged creature that also happened to be out looking for a snack. In this situation, your brain would waste no time in rational thinking. Thanks to the amygdala hijack, you would be thrown into a flight or fight response, and hopefully, survive to tell the story. In modern life, of course, we are unlikely to encounter ravenous, bloodthirsty beasts. We are, however, almost certain to encounter drivers that cut us off, disrespectful colleagues, children that misbehave, and countless other situations that may very well lead to the occasional amygdala hijack. Let us watch a short clip. I am sure that you would have heard or even seen this before.
Now Materazzi did what? This is going to give us a bit more of a clue. He said something? He certainly said something. Now what happens? He's saying some more. Well, the pictures tell the story. He leaves football in disgrace.
The video clip shows the famous Zidane's headbutt to Materazzi. In front of 28.8 million viewers in 213 countries, Zidane, a worldwide soccer role model, lost his self-control and headbutted Materazzi in 2006 World Cup soccer finals. Zidane was kicked out of the game. France lost the World Cup to Italy and Zidane's career ended in disgrace and wonderment. Zidane's surprising and aggressive response demonstrates the 3 signs of the amygdala hijack: strong emotional reaction, sudden onset, and regret for your actions when you reflect later. Zidane apologized to the children for his act, but remained unrepentant to Materazzi and rationalized that Materazzi's statements provoked him. Zidane's comments demonstrate the seriousness of his high-profile hijack. His logic was suppressed by the powerful tunnel vision survival reaction of the amygdala. No one can make you do something against your better judgment, but the amygdala always can. Zidane rationalized later that he knew there were only minutes left in his last career game and Matrazzi's response demanded retaliation. He was not thinking logically at that time, and his response characterizes as a cognitive dissonance in explaining his behavior. The level at which people control emotional hijacking, or let it control them, is typically correlated to their emotional intelligence, also known as their emotional quotient. The higher the emotional intelligence, the more able a person is to understand, identify and subdue an emotional hijacking situation. This can be done in the following ways: be aware. The first step in improving any fault is identifying the need to improve it in the first place. Be aware of your emotions at a moment in time. Look for consistent situations where you find yourself stressed or quick to anger and simply become aware. Take a break. Once you identify triggers that have the potential to set off your emotional hijack, do anything in your power to address them so you are able to do more than just react. Take a micro break and walk away from a tense situation by going for a walk, getting a drink, or just giving yourself a minute to calm down. If the triggers are recurring and driven by a specific individual, have a respectful conversation with this person to diffuse the situation and find common ground. Practice proactive empathy. Lead by example by acting in a manner that demonstrates the type of behavior you wish to see by those around you. Show how things should be done, and with a little luck your co-workers will take a cue from your example and begin to reduce the stressors that could lead to an emotional hijack.